Are you a spiritual seeker that is having some issues with manifesting or expressing in intimacy to the full potential? Great. Don't worry, I got you covered. Hi, this is Liana, Holistic Intimacy Coach. Welcome to my channel. Here, I help you get your orgasmic intimacy. Firstly, I want to make clear who this video is for, because a lot of the people that I have here, hi everyone, are probably gonna raise an eyebrow or two, or if they have a third one. So, a fulfilled intimacy, an orgasmic, beautiful, vibrant intimacy is on everyone's mind, whether you are a spiritual seeker or not. However, some of the spiritual seekers who are very, very sensitive have a tougher time finding material that is for them. So one thing, let me backtrack this. First of all, who this video is for. More concretely, people that ever listened to a twin flame, soulmate, or karmic partner video. People that listen to energy updates, twin flame energy updates. People who listen to meditation music, solfeggio frequencies, sacred frequencies music. I listen to a lot of those. I do my jaded practice to those because I find them very subtle, which is what I need for my practice, sometimes. People who listen to astrology videos. People who listen to or who follow pick a card or tarot readings. People who are into crystals and crystal healing. People who are listening to law of attraction, manifestation videos. People who are interested in making their abundance, not just on a spiritual plane, but also in a relationship, so a very human, earthly plane. They're seeking for abundance there, emotional abundance, as I call it. So if you're any one of those, welcome. This video is for sure for you. I have other stuff here that is going to help you, but this one is going to look at one thing that I do know is missing right now. Sort of Darwin's missing link when it comes to twin flame intimacy and high vibe intimacy and high vibe sexuality. Before I get to that blockage or missing link, I need to level with you on something that you already know, and Eckhart Tolle Eckhart said it best: the power of now. The highest form of spirituality is being connected to the present, right here, right now. It is also what I call grounding. If you're grounded, you can't be projecting yourself into future, past. You're just assessing what is going on right now, and you're also assessing your resources to best handle what is going on right now. This is an extremely important step to also apply in your intimacy. Yes, the foundations of a high vibe intimacy, of a twin flame fulfilled intimacy, is still the presence in the here and now. In the case of sexuality, you've guessed it, it's presence in your body. There are many benefits to reminding yourself, no matter how beautiful the dreams, the images, the sounds, the fantasy is of something, that there is a tremendous power and a huge key for your intimate fulfillment in the here and now. One is heightened arousal, access to a very powerful orgasm, access to erotic intuition. I do believe in this, not just because I'm a woman and I do use a lot of the time my intuition, but also because a lot of our bad or not helpful or choices that actually make us fall in love, not rise in love. The reason we're going down instead of up, we're constricting instead of expanding in intimacy, is because we don't listen to our erotic intuition. Because we're not present in the here and now, we're too etheric, we're actually being enticed and in a way fooled. Our vision is clogged by shiny, pretty, beautiful, sparkling things. But had we been more present in our body, those things would have been obvious to us that maybe they weren't for us. Not all that glitters is our twin flame. So, the one thing that I do have for you right now is, first of all, the invitation to start using your meditation, healing, cleaning, purifying, purging practices also for your sexuality, but in a slightly different way. So the first invitation that I have for you right now, and I also have some resources for that here on YouTube, is to apply all the practices that you have for cleaning, purifying, healing, meditating, channeling things, also to apply it to your sexual and erotic expressions. What do I mean by this? A lot of the spiritual seekers that I know of, partly I'm also like this, they are focused on listening, feeling, so building these beautiful projections, but when it comes to intimacy, sometimes things are not quite as in fantasy. With good reason. The human nature, the grounded, embodied, physical, carnal nature has its own particularities. And if we're not connecting the two, so the spiritual, the etheric, with the carnal, then we have a missing link. We have a tough time finding partners that can also sustain the space for us in order to express and to open up to a fuller, to a wider, to a greater potential. A lot of the sexual stuff that you will see here on YouTube is not sublimated, for sure, but also it's not even a bit purified. It's way too raw. Not that being raw is negative, it's just that it's way too raw for most spiritual seekers, and they can't connect. There's something missing. They can't bring themselves to understand and also to embody it or to sustain with their more sensitized bodies. They can't sustain those two raw or brute practices, words, ways of relating, ways of looking at things. So the solution here is, first of all, to start to embody and to start to look at your body as the key to lifting yourself up, but also being able to connect to somebody else. I know that a lot of the spiritual seekers are connecting in energy, in thought, in emotion. However, the body, which is your vessel, you're having this entire experience through your body, a lot of the times it can't connect to more raw, darker, more intense desires, wishes, expectations, and so on. Some people will never be open, willing, interested, wired to be more hardcore, more raw, more impact-oriented. That is absolutely okay. The people who are more hardcore, raw, impact-oriented will never be interested or wired towards the subtler things, towards sacred, what we call sacred sexuality, and so on. So, no worries here. First of all, you need to be connected to everything, including your body, in order to feel, on all levels, who is a compatible partner with you, meaning who can relate to you not just in energy, thoughts, emotions, but also physical expression. And then learning to tap more also into your physical expression. In the way that you do with your spiritual practices, there is a similar approach to your sexual practices. Yes. The one thing that is missing, the erotic Darwin link or the sexual Darwin link, physical sexuality practices. And I do mean practice. I don't mean anything profane, too dark, too rough or anything, or just too something that will deplete your energy. So I'm not referring to anything of the sorts. Practices can be done in various ways. What you need to know is that sexual energy, sexual expressions actually come into more of our physicality. Breath, sight, sound, touch, movement, and awareness to all that. Practices can be done in this sense, so with breath, with sound, with movement, with touch, and awareness to all that, which can generate arousal, obviously. Even if we're talking about arousal at a smaller degree or at a more intense degree, the point is that it triggers arousal, and every day it might be different. You're a different person each day, so your sexual expression and your sexual intensity is going to oscillate every day. That's normal, by the way, nothing to worry there. But once you start to do your practice also in this realm with a certain frequency, you're going to start to see yourself embodying your sexuality in a more in tune with you way. And you're going to be more adept to relate to somebody, or at least if it's somebody that doesn't have these practices, to explain to somebody why it actually makes sense for you to maybe have a certain kind of foreplay, which maybe includes dancing, or maybe includes breathing together, or maybe it just includes eye gazing together for a certain amount of time. It will be easier for you to explain to somebody who's extremely different from you why that's important, and also you will be relaxed to stand your ground when somebody doesn't understand or somebody doesn't feel like it in that moment. When somebody doesn't understand completely and isn't interested in that at all. I've had people in coaching that have had this issue. They were wired in a very subtle way, and their partners were into hardcore, fast, brief, momentary stuff and didn't have the patience to try, or didn't feel aroused to consider foreplay for longer, sexual full expression for much longer time, and so on. And they were unhappy. So I totally know how that is. I've worked with people in that situation, and there are ways around it. And it starts with, you guessed it, you and your sexual practices. So the resources that I have here, which are available on YouTube, and they were made specifically to, well, remain on YouTube. They are somewhere around 10 to 15 minutes of breath work. You're invited to follow along because I facilitate in each and every one of those. Whether you get to arousal or not, that is depending on, first of all, how much you're used to doing these practices. Secondly, at least the sexual stamina breathwork practices, so sexual stamina number 1, sexual stamina number 2, those are around arousal, sexual continence. You're going to see them in more detail there. Next to that, there are many things that involve your awareness around, well, topics related to intimacy, boundaries, communications, values, self-worth, meaning, intention, all of those. And for those, I actually have 3 materials. Those are the guided focusing practices. Listen to them every now and then. You can oscillate between them. The benefits in this case will be that you will get into your awareness in a way that resonates with you, okay, guided focusing, a lot of concepts that are just missing from sexuality. One of them is with stages of the erotic. Nobody's looking at that right now. Very few, I've not seen one material on YouTube around stages of the erotic. Not sexual, so not the physical stuff. Erotic, your inner universe. Emotions, wishes, expectations, meaning that you give to everything that happens, okay? The unseen stuff, the highly subjective things. Nobody speaks of those, so that meditation is going to be extremely valuable for you. Another one, which is also extremely important, the Bless Your Erotic Levels of Consciousness. That one is inspired by Dr. Joe Dispenza's Bless Your Energy Centers. I use that a lot, and my entire experience shifts when I do that. And I adapted for sexuality. Yes, you can look at sexuality not just in the first or second energy center. You can look at it in all energy centers. More refined, more complex and higher levels of understanding your erotic energy, definitely extremely valuable material. And lastly, once you're ready, you can try the intimacy programs that I have online. Those are paid programs, so whenever you're ready to make that leap, it will be there. Those are guided practices, but actual practices that you can use My recommendation is that they are done once a week. The only exception is when women are menstruating. Those are not the times that they can do an actual practice. So ladies, you all know how that goes. So in that week, there are other stuff, you know, the guided materials, the breath works, the inner smiles, healing sounds, all the stuff. In short, for anybody who is new to this channel, for anybody who's a spiritual seeker, having some trouble linking their sexuality to their spirituality and their shared intimacy to their spiritual understanding or search, then these are some resources here that can be extremely valuable to you in time. So if you're not subscribed, consider joining me. I have a few materials here that are going to be worth your time. There is a magnetic partner playlist. Check that one out. I have a lot of material there that you might find useful. And otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Bye.